I just want to say for the record, you are not teaching us nothing. It's always been teachers teaching this information, fam. Oh, dang, man. Y'all are not teaching nothing new, famo. Like, this information is being regurgitated once again, fam. And it's like a new superstar. We got to get a new superstar, face out here that's acting like they teaching us, sending us off. It's the same cycle, bro. The same cycle. It's the same cycle. Someone new comes around and they know everything. They know more than the last generation. All this information is nothing new, fam. That's all I'm saying, bro. It's nothing new, bro. All this Tartarian stuff, y'all people are just discovering. We already went over this information. That's all I'm trying to. You feel me? Like, we got to stop this. I'm just spamming the net with all these videos of Tartarian. It's a waste of time. Because, like I said, we've already done the research, and that's how we've concluded what the Moors are. Was years for each banner. Taino Night, Banu Te. Sumeru, Maru, Wales, Piazza Bird, Tartarian, China. Oh, bro. Why do you think we have Welsh surnames, bro? Now you know why we have Welsh surnames in North America. That's why I be like, it's no us. Stop saying us, because we're not all the same. And you know what? I'm not the one to just look at photos on the internet and say, oh, wow, a Tartarian flag. Oh, wow, the China flag. I'm not the one to do that. I'm just taking their research, the research that they're spamming the internet with as if it's something new. I'm using this. This is their research. We know the truth, and other people like that. Like they're teaching us something about Tartarian. There's no validity of this flag. It could just be a animation from someone who want to prove a point. It doesn't necessarily mean it's from the archives of history. That's not what this proves, because we know China didn't exist. They weren't called China during this time. They had different names like Canton, Catharine, and Mongol, all types of names. They weren't China. China is not wasn't a nation back then. We know Wales wasn't Wales. It was Nagamru, Simru. And we know this is not the Piazza bird. This is just English history. That's like Tartary is English history. We don't know what they actually called themselves. Most important, symbology is similar though. The dragon, the bird, the griffin bird, or the dragon, whatever you want to call it, the griffin bird or the dragon. Dragons was big in medieval Europe. During the medieval times, dragons was popular. Even in Asia, as we can see, China dragons are popular. So like I'm saying, you're not teaching us nothing, because these are the same people, we know the truth, telling us Moors are not from America, but they'll backtrack to validate their claims by saying Tartarian is in America, which is a waste of time, because it's all the same. It's all the same. So they have an agenda. We know what the agenda is, and that's why it's these atypical researchers that they have a certain ism about, an energy about themselves. It's always anti-Islamic for a reason. I don't understand. These researchers have an anti-Islamic stance, especially in America and Mexico. And thank goodness for Mexico, by the way, because Mexico didn't let them erase their Islamic past like they're trying to do in Haiti and Dominica. Yeah, it's not about being afraid of Islam. It's the fact that their culture, their Masonic culture, is built off the rainbow. Islam don't protect rainbow. That's what this is about. It's as simple as that. It's about rainbow culture. And these researchers that they are spamming the net are always these rainbow dudes. It's always rainbow. They have to blot out Islam because they couldn't exist. Their culture could not exist at the same time as an Islamic occupation, as an Islamic civilization. Whatever they're claiming couldn't exist because they are rainbow. And that's what they're trying to implement. They're trying to justify a rainbow culture, and it didn't. Yeah, Islam is different, but they the ones who built the buildings, is what I'm saying. They are Mecca. The Mecca people that they try to document as Olmec and Mecca in Arabia, those are the people who built the minarets and the tall buildings. So the connection, the global connection, is not just Moorish and Persian and Turk Ottoman. It's Islam. The base is Jerusalem, and Islam is the basis. The different factions and cultures split later. Dude, Mexico today, nor ancient Aztec land had anything to do with those banners. Good, then why you over here? Yes, it do. Aztec. I mean, well, Mexico is directly connected to Spain. What are you talking about? Isabella Montezuma and Montezuma's daughter, what? Is a Spanish woman. Isabella Montezuma. They married directly into Spain. What are you even talking about? Like, this is what we gotta nip this in the bud. We gotta nip this in the bud. Aztecs weren't more. What? Isabella Montezuma, what are you talking about? Do you even know who that is? Do you even know who Montezuma is? They literally married into Spain. You can't be serious. You can't take these people serious, man. You can't take them serious at all. You can't take them serious. I don't. Nobody really takes them serious like that. You talking about a historical people that actually married into Spain. Man, you cannot make this up. Can't make it up. You just need to get off my channel. You don't make no sense at all. Spain and Mexico is forever married. They're married whether you like it or not. That's what you need to accept, and you don't make no sense. You need to just move around. Spain and Mexico is forever married. Castile. The Kingdom of Aragon, Castile. Spain is in Moorish. Oh my God, you can't make this up. Hey man, I don't want to have to block you, fam. I really don't want to have to. You commenting too much. But anyway, let's make the connection of these birds. I mean, these griffin birds and the paisa bird. So the reason why we have, as African Americans, we have Welsh surnames. So what I'm saying is, by claiming some buildings are Tartarian, you're not getting the whole gist of the research. You're just getting some surface research. You're not digging deep. And when you understand why we have Welsh surnames, it's very important because we know we've been here. We know historically we've been in the Mississippi. We know we've been in Alabama, and we speak the so-called English very well. Well, we have Welsh surnames because Welsh never had slaves in America. How do you have Welsh surnames instead of English, instead of Spanish, instead of German? Why don't you have German surnames since you were put in bondage by German people, so-called Slavic people? Well, you have African American. I keep saying African American because of the word I4, but you have Welsh surnames because you were never put in slavery like that. Maybe bondage or captive or some type of, military outbreak. But you have Welsh surnames because you are directly connected to this empire they're trying to cover up, that is being annexed and amalgamated. And they use the word colonization. They use the word colonization. You were colonized. So you magically know all of this information and this culture down to a T because you were colonized, but you don't understand what colonization really is. You don't really understand colonization. Colonization is amalgamation, is the blending in, right, of somebody getting used to you and your ways. You're being colonized. You're not colonizing them. You're not learning their ways. They're learning your ways. So that's what happened over here in America, and that's why we speak English so well, because they're copying us. We're being colonized because we have the Welsh surnames. We don't have English surnames. We have Welsh surnames. And there's books dedicated over 100 years studies of why the so-called black African Americans have Welsh surnames. Now you know why. And they're trying to cover it up with this Tartary and Francia and China and everything else, but it's Simaru or Kemaru, who are the ancient Moors who were being battled over in England. So when we have England, when we have the battling of some of these famous Europeans taking over these castles and these areas, this is who they are battling first. They're amalgamating the kingdoms. Then it became English and British. And then they take over the UK and subdue Ireland. And that's when they started coming to the Caribbean islands. When they subdue these kingdoms, that's when they started coming to the Caribbeans before they got into North America. So remember, they went to the islands Hispaniola first. They can't get to us without going through them. They have to board their ships there because, the ocean is not, they're not going to get right directly through the ocean like that. So they go to the Caribbean first and go through them people to get up here. And that's why we don't have the same history like everybody else. And we still have our surnames in our writing to this day, our cursive writing, inventions, our culture, And they're colonizing us with fake history and this term black and Afro and all these terms that don't fit the Myru people. Because we understand Psi means two, and it also means a balance. The Myru people, who will try to connect us to the Eskimos and to the Cimarron people of the Maroon people. But what most importantly is deeper than that. It takes us back to the L's, the same L's that we find amongst the Aztec and the Mayan and the Celtic people called Celtic. And ultimately, it'll connect us back to the Garifuna people as well on an ancient level. But I want to focus on their language. It's called Nagamru, Khmer, and this is a Western form of an older world of the Moors, what the Moors look like before Islam. See, they want to paint a view of secular culture before the Islam, before the Roman occupation. Hey, you don't know what you're talking about, fam. I'm not gonna lie. You just typing. And that's what majority of people do. They just be typing and talking. I don't know what the heck they talking about. A lot of y'all come from these islands and these little small towns and don't have no connection to the world. You can just imagine a city like Chicago, how we're connected to the whole world. We're a global people. Y'all are just some tribal people thinking y'all can speak for us. Talking about some what nobody over here. What nobody over here. What no Moors over here. Y'all be cracking me up. I'm from a major city called Chicago, Illinois, which is a historical major city. And I know we're a global people. We have people from all over the world. And y'all are from these basic little poor third world towns. What nobody over here, man? What nobody? You from over there, man? Barely, these folks barely can speak English. Dude, you don't do nothing. You don't do nothing, man. Trust me. As a Chicagoan, I know you ain't got no culture that I desire. Trust and believe. And that's why I started my doing videos to call y'all people out. Y'all are just on here spreading misinformation all over the country. Because if Chicago is an industrial leader, we're industrial leaders in industry and machine work. We are machine workers. We are logistical and technological people in Chicago, militant. We know y'all are not on our level when it comes to planning and city planning. And we know people, we call them backwards people. And, we can call y'all bluff because we know y'all online just making up nonsense. Just talking. So Chicago is a global city, been a global city for hundreds of years, bringing in all types of cultures. And we're not going to let somebody speak for us in Chicago and, other cities. We're not going to let some people speak for us, telling us who was in our sound, in our areas. Trying to tell us who our culture is, like, I know what's going on. You're not talking about nothing, fam. You just typing. Like, majority of y'all, it's like it's easy for me to just really expose the mentality and the ideals of some of y'all people. But yeah, I had to do this video. I only got a few minutes before I go. And I tagged your boy, We Know the Truth. I tagged your boy, We Know the Truth. Because he gonna go up there and show the payasa bird talking about some Tartary. Oh no, it's not Tartary. It goes back. Tartary is the expanded territory. In another fake word. But it goes back to the kingdom of Myru. The kingdom they don't want you to know about. The kingdom of Mother Ru. Kingdom of Samairu. Who is the kingdom of the sun that we call Morocco right now today. The kingdom of the West, Maghrabia. Alexia Marabia. Or what we call Caribbean. Makariba. The kingdom of the shining sun. The kingdom of the shining sun. The breath of God. So like I said, y'all not telling us nothing, fam. Y'all are a waste of time, but I have to continuously address yeah, the real deal. The real deal, buddy. Do you see it? Do you see that forever young youthfulness? You see the youthfulness? Yep. Forever young, man. You wear your countenance. You wear your countenance. Bro, I tagged We Know the Truth, bro. I tagged your name, fam. I know the reason why y'all are afraid, bro, because y'all not gonna do all that jibber jabber with me. You gonna have to come with real. I'm the boss of bosses. Boss level. You not getting past me with this rinky dink information. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You're not getting past me. Oh, the Indian, we the Indian and the mound builder. I've been tagging We Know the Truth our last little few videos to let them know what he up against. And when they see the information, they'll know their mistakes when saying no Moors was in America. Like this one person typing talking about some Taino night. Moors is an Anglo rendition. Duh. Okay. Everybody don't say Moors. Some say Moes. Some say Maus. Some say Amir. It's different pronunciations all over the world, homie. Some people can't say Moors. If you go in Mississippian area, some people might say Maus. I ain't no Mao. I ain't no Maus over here because they can't talk. They have their own talk. In Russia, it's moose. In Africa, it's masi. It's mos. Mos. Like saying more, mas, mos. Everybody don't talk the same. So duh. But most important, in Latin America, they say Moreno. And they say Santa Maria. Santa Maria. Moranita. Like this, for instance. Let me show you. Let me show you. One thing about me, I'm going to bring the facts. So this is how you get these goofies like Taino. As we can see right there, it says, La Virgin Morena. La Virgin Morena. So he says that this woman is from the Sub-Sahara. She's from the Sub-Saharan. Oh, they're not from below the Sub-Saharan? That's my point. It says it right here. La Virgin Morena, Queen of Castile. So this is well above the Sahara. What are you What are you talking about? Latin America calls us Moreno and Morena. Moors. 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 La Virgin Morena, Queen of Castile. What are you talking about? What is he talking about? I'm talking about what Latin America calls us, since Latin is the #1 language in America. I'm not talking about Africa or Europe. How am I distorting history when Latin America call us Morenas and Morenos? This woman is literally called a Morena, right? So how could somebody like you escape? Where are you going to run to? You have no Spanish surnames. mm. Well, I'm about to debunk you. Watch this. I'm going to debunk you just because I can. I'm going to debunk you. That's a statue, dude. It is? No, that's a picture. I'm going to debunk you just because I can. Watch this. African romance language. Let me go ahead and, first of all, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna show you. Watch this. Okay, hold on. I I need to switch this around. This ain't gonna take no time. Damn. Alright, so let's go in. He's talking about I'm giving a rendition of an Anglo interpretation of Spanish history. You not Hispanic, dude. Man, something's up with you. Okay. African Latin, Afro-Romance. Berber, Moro, Roman. Berber, Moro, Roman. African Romans. Maghreb, Africa. Latin, Romance. So Africans speak Latin. Africans do speak Latin. He don't know what he's talking about. Spain and Portugal. Watch this. Portugal. Ironworks. Watch this. Watch this. All right, here they go right here. Here you go right here. So this is very important right here. This is called the Portuguese ironworks. And the beautiful part about it is it doesn't show pale people. When you look at these ironworks, it shows Aboriginal people with big lips. So when you look at the people that is being presented, you could assume that they spoke Portuguese. So I'm showing you that Portuguese and Spanish is not just pale people like how they want you to think. Look at this. This is the Portuguese iron. Now there's more. Hold on. Look, Portuguese soldier. So these are Portuguese soldiers, according to their art. So the Portuguese had all types of different people in their military, just like the Roman. All types of people in their society. Now look at this wide-nosed person. This wide-nosed Portuguese male. So they'll just tell you about this, but they won't tell you how they actually depicted themselves. So look at his wide nose with his special cap on. Right. So here's more Portuguese. Look at these Portuguese people. Right. Look at this one. Look at this Portuguese. So the Portuguese was never pale people, just like Spanish was never pale people. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? They just telling you anything to make you think we speak Latin because of some pale people, when that's never true. Even Justinian wasn't a pale man. Justinian was a Latin man. Look, more Portuguese. Latins was never pale people. That's just what they wanted to do to whitewash history. I can go, look, here's even more. If you really look at their face, you can tell these are not pale men. These so-called Portuguese. This is how they whitewash history, especially with the help of these mestizos. You can easily look at these men's face and tell these are not pale men. These are Moors. These are Moors. You can look at that man's face and tell that's not an albino. You can easily tell these are not albinos. Look at that nose and them lips for this Portuguese man. They called it the Benin Bronzes. The so-called Benin Bronzes when a Portuguese visited. Now look at this royal dude. Benin Bronzes, Portuguese. I like this one right here. I really like this one for a particular reason. Let me show you why. Now watch this. They could also be mulattoes. I mean, these definitely don't look like no mulattoes to me. But most importantly, what I'm trying to prove is they spoke Latin. People in Africa and South America always spoke Latin. Latin is not a white man language. That's what they're trying to trick you into. It is not a white man language. It's not a Slavic people language. Africans and Romans, Moors have always spoke Latin. It's nothing new. It's the language of the gods. A Portuguese soldier. Portuguese soldier. Wow. In Benin, showing you how the Portuguese was united with the African kings. Showing you the unification of different cultures. So, we speak Portuguese in Belize and Brazil. We speak Spanish, Creole in America. We speak Criollo and Hispaniola, Dominica and Puerto Rico. We speak it because we speak it before Europeans got here. They speak English because they copy the people they copy in Virginia. Latin in America is ancient. It is nothing new. So let's go watch this. Check this out. So remember the so-called Garifuna. I mean the black boats, the black ships, and how Japanese seen the Portuguese. Let's go and get it. What's going on here? Images. Bam, check it out. Arrival of Japanese. Oh no, these pictures is too. It's too. But anyway, that goes back to them same hats and same clothes. This same hats and same clothes. Look at them hats. And this is how the Japanese viewed the Portuguese. Arrival of Portuguese in Japan. Look at all those brown people. This is who they call. I'm debunking him, by the way. I'm easily debunking him. He says, you don't have Latin names. You don't know who I am. You're just doing too much. Go on and block him. That's some silly stuff to tell somebody who they is. And go on and block Taino. You're done. But anyway, I'm not going to let him do that. But look how they look. Look at the Portuguese. Look at the Portuguese. Look at the Portuguese. So like I said, Latin America call our people Moors. And they want to ignore that on purpose because they are just only privy to English. They want to tell us, oh, you only know an English rendition. Well, Latin America call us Moors. An English rendition. Well, Latin America call us Moors. How about that? That's a Latin American rendition. Since we only know English. And they call us the Morena and the Moreno. They call us the Moreno people. You feel Moreno people. You feel me? I don't know where y'all people come from with y'all ideals and what y'all believe from them little islands in them third world countries. Because Chicago is a Moorish place. And that's all I wanted to show we know the truth. You know, Chicago is Moorish, man. Y'all can't take that from us. Because we know what Moorish culture is. And y'all can't, y'all are not involved in this culture. It don't have nothing to do with y'all. Y'all are just on the sidelines, wishing upon a star, just naming stuff, wishing to be a part of something. Y'all not a part of Chicago, fam. One of the greatest cities in the history of the world or the planet. Chicago, my city, my home. Y'all are just up here making up stuff, bro. Talking about what y'all made up and what's y'all's. Just come on, bro. Like, stop. Y'all have no religion. Y'all are connected to no religion on earth. Just up here, man. We was the black people, man. You know what I'm saying? We was the Taino, man. Y'all are just up here saying anything, bro. Y'all are not connected to no greatness, bro. No greatness at all, bro. Just fooling the net, fooling the world. Y'all are just fooling the whole planet, bro. With this trolling the net every day, just trolling. That's all y'all do is troll the net. Pete said, "Are you in Belize?" No, I'm not in Belize. He said, "You don't have any Latin surnames." Man, bro, I'm not stopping. I'm not letting up. I'm not letting up. I'm sorry, man. Y'all don't have nothing. Everybody knows it. This is the deal breaker right here. I'm going public with it to debunk every last one of y'all groups. And y'all don't have any rebuttal. Y'all don't have any scholarships where you can come with information. All you have is name calling. And like minorities. And that's just, this is why it's been pretty much determined to just deal with these, call them using terms as minorities. Because the majority of them act like minors when it comes to relaying information. All right, document your information, source it up, and apply it. Go through the application process, system check. If you have your data correct, no, they can't do that. They just want to be heard. They want to just be heard. They just want to argue. They just want to be heard and argue. Like we just had to block that one Taino Knight dude talking about he a black knight. Up here just typing some stuff. We from North America, from Latin towns, from Chicago, from Orleans, all these Latin towns, St. Louis, but we ain't Latin. Man, these folks crazy. We use Latin writing. We use Latin script. And this is what they want to do. They want to color you out of history. They think they can just color you out because of a skin color and say you're not part of a specific culture. That's what they can do. Indian is a reclassification. I know it is. I know it is. All right. Yeah, but this why I'm going with this religion, this old world religion that they're covering up, and our connection to the old world. They want to subjugate us and relegate us to sub-Sahara Africa. They refuse to prove your sources wrong. I mean, they can't even prove my sources wrong. They can't even engage in an intelligent conversation. It's like a malfunction when an adult comes across them because they're not fully grown adults, they malfunction. You understand what I'm saying? It's to the point where they're so used to faking by the time they come around someone who can appropriately handle themselves, they malfunction into name calling because they can't communicate honestly because they know they're fake. A bunch of fakos. You know how you diatribe with somebody you just meet, y'all corresponding, talking, whether you're going back and forth with respect. They can't do that because they have an ulterior motive. They know they're already lying. Like some of these dudes will go back and forth. Like some of these dudes will go back and forth with you knowing they're lying. But for the most part, I try not to lie. Soon as I figure out I was wrong about something, oh, I was wrong. Let me fix it. So we can't even have an intelligent conversation with these dudes. So we can start with the fact that Indios don't have a religion. You have no spiritual concepts that we can document. So we know the old world buildings and religion is not yours. Like for this, for instance, let me show you. So when we look at buildings like this that's dedicated to Mary, we know this is not your building because you're not parishioners, you're not devotees, you're not religious. You don't go to temple meetups because you're not religious. You're not part of organizations. Y'all already stated this. Y'all are not a part of organizations and religions. So how are these y'all buildings? You have nothing to explain to us on how your religion work. No concept. But y'all out here claiming all these buildings and telling us Moors are not from here. This is what we're dealing with. And this is why the country is in opportunity. They're not going to fix you. They want you to stay slow so they can take advantage and exploit you. They want you to be incorrect. And they know you don't know who you are. They know you are just making up stuff because you believe the stories they told. The stories they made up, you are repeating them so they know you don't know what you're talking about. They know you can't research in French and Spanish and Portuguese. They know you can't research what the Haitians actually done. You don't have the means to do that. You just make up as you go. But I'm here to tell you, I can call every last one of y'all out and prove y'all did not build the buildings. I want to stick to the basics. Y'all did not concoct the first writing scripts, phonetics in America, and you did not blueprint and build these buildings. Montezuma married into Spain. He has a daughter called Isabella Montezuma, and he has a daughter called Isabella Montezuma, and they put all their holdings overseas so they can run a scam on their native people. So that was the first scam. So what does that have to do with you? Nothing. Nothing. Because you have no connection to none of that. Because you don't have a religion. You don't have a connection to Europe. You don't have a connection to Africa. You're just cut off from the world. But you magically built these buildings dedicated to a god. It don't make no sense. Yeah, I heard them talking about it earlier. That's what I was about to get on J Money earlier when I heard them talking about records from the 1200s. And that Donald Trump quote, I seen Hobart talking about that Donald Trump excluding Indians. I'm just like, oh my gosh, she out here misquoting the damn quote. It clearly got quotation marks on it, and they still misquoting. Yeah,
He excluding Indians.
yeah, the Indians what?
Yeah, but what he say? He been how many times he gotta tell these people? Even though we ain't black, but he say black people built this country. He can't say too much because it's true, but he can't say too much. He let you know this was already built up. And you know what, bro? You see that poster you got right there on your prompt?
Yeah.
I got live footage of that. I got live footage of that. The one you just took down that castle, you know they got black angels. They got bronze statues of black angels right there with locks
Oh
in their
yeah.
head.
Yeah, I believe you.
It's
I
a gate,
believe that.
like in the front. Yeah, towards the front. Now I got the footage in my I got the footage still up on my thing. I posted it on TikTok. I should stay right there. I should live in the neighborhood right there. That's on Central West End. That's in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
2 video. I did like 3 videos on that, but I got pictures of the statues, and it's a brother, his wife, and it's a youngin. It's 3 of them. That's who they used to belong to.
Right. I believe you,
Yeah.
bro. I do a lot of research on these churches because I grew up in Chicago, and it's a place called Holy Cross. It was a Catholic school ran by our people, and it was on this street called Maryland, 65th and Maryland, and all of the Catholic culture was ran by Negroes. Like, so I'm already knowing what you're talking about, but it was a specific strict culture, and we always equate Catholic with strict, private school, strict culture. So, like I say, I believe you. The problem is we have a group of people called Indian people, who are into the TP culture or whatever. Now all of a sudden they built these buildings. So the problem is they don't have a religion or a spiritual practice. So how are we supposed to believe some primitive TP people built these buildings? So that's my problem. So I got another good stuff here. Most High, what's going on, man? I'm gonna leave you hanging.
Yeah, for Brogo, and we put them right there. That's them foreigners that came over. We put them on. We put them right there. That's they 4 acres in the middle. We put them right there.
Yeah, I know we put them right there because America is the land of Mary, and Saint Mary was actually one of the people who had a shrine. So Saint Mary or the Marian religion is real. It's the Mary Mother of God. It's practiced all throughout the Americas. It's a religion. So what I'm saying is people are claiming this stuff, but they don't actually know what goes on inside these buildings. It's the veneration of Mary. It's all up and down America. The Church of Saint Mary, the Church of Saint Benedict the Moor, the Church of Saint James. It's the saint religion. It's a religion. The problem I have is the Indian community, the black Indians are saying they don't have a religion. If you don't have a religion, how in the hell are these your buildings? That's my problem. So, like I say, it's a bunch of misinformation. So when we get to go inside these buildings, they literally are called Moors. Their leader is called Saint Benedict the Moor, who been building churches in America for 500 years. Have a church in Pittsburgh, and these Catholic temples or cathedrals are dedicated to Saint Mary, who the Moors protect. So, like I said, they don't have a claim, and they don't even know the origins of these buildings. They're just making up stuff online, and that's the only thing I'm here to prove, that our people is causing confusion all over the internet every day.
I ain't gonna say nothing else, but it's everything gonna be alright because everybody that's tapped in real life, they ain't gonna have to say it no more. They finna start displaying it. You know what I'm saying? Them powers coming out, so we finna see who the truth is. So all that debating and
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
over with.
I agree with that, especially with the way the sun is. Only the real gonna be able to activate. So all that talking is gonna go out the door anyway. I support that, but I'm just going off the history of what these structures represent, and the people just trying to take it over and just lie. You know what I'm saying? They just making up new history, and that's not healthy for nobody. And that's why we have a divide with Latin America and Mexicans, because they've been practicing this culture, and our people, they strayed away after a strange God called Jesus. We started following white Jesus. Everybody else kept staying with mother. Everybody stayed with mother. We followed the strange God. Now we want to come back and
Yeah,
try to
he ain't.
kill everybody, and then now all of a sudden they want to tell everybody what it is when y'all are the ones who strayed
That's
away to this strange God.
those are pagans. He ain't. We ain't never worship no white Jesus. That's not Jesus.
Yeah, I know
Jesus,
we
Jesus,
didn't,
them, Jesus and
brother.
the disciples, all them was brothers. They was
Yeah,
all tall
I
with the
know about the
dread swinging.
Hebrews. I know about the
Yeah, they
Hebrews,
was
but what I'm
Hebrews.
saying is there was a movement in America where our people were worshiping white Jesus, and they do to this day.
Nah,
This
they
we
start.
cannot deny this that it happened. It did happen.
Nah, they started worshiping. They started. We was going off the scriptures. That's it. We
Yeah,
ain't care
yeah,
what
yeah.
type
You
of scripture
making
they put up
excuses
there.
right now, man. I done seen too many old ass women with white Jesuses in their house, and they took that shit. They took that shit literally. Like I don't care what you say.
Yeah, we
Like
done
y'all
had
can
it.
try, man, but hey,
Yeah, in our city, bro, we don't got nothing. We got all black, bro. Even in the churches, bro, all the churches got stained glass windows with black angels
I know
and the
what you
black,
talking about,
black
brother.
Messiah
I'm
and the
here with
disciples
you,
up there.
brother. I'm being dead ass for real, bro. Like I'm from the 1980s, bro. I done been to so many churches, fam. I grew up in the church, so it's a part of a ministry, and their teachings to dumb down and whiten up Jesus and to pretty much make the woman look like she cursed and to remove Mary, from the scriptures. We don't know a lot about Mary, Jesus's mother, and her importance. So what I'm saying is this is intentional. A lot of our people don't know, bro, and we can sit up here and act like they do when they don't. They never heard of the Virgin Mary, the Black Madonna, none of that. All they know is Jesus and Jesus is Lord. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah,
I
you
know
know,
what you're talking about, bro,
that's
but
the
there's
that's the Masonic
misinformation.
movement. That's the Masonic movement. They see they overlaying you for the underplaying you, bro. They know what's
Exactly.
going on. They are secret. They got something else going on. They don't even believe in none of it. They don't
Exactly.
care about nothing in that book or none of them people. They ain't with none of this saint holy stuff. They with the dark forces. They with the Masonic orders. So they just use that as a front. Some of them use
Yeah,
Islam as a front. Some of them use
exactly.
Catholicism as a front. Buddha. They all use some type of righteous front. That's a mainstream religion. And then it's like, but in the background, what's really going on in the basement? They doing that dark stuff.
Right.
That's what they really believe in. So you know what I mean? That's why they put that false image out there to woo, that's the woo out the Bamas. Everybody
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
innocent, everybody that's innocent, they threw that out there because they know that spell work. That's the
Right.
real picture magic. You know
Right.
what I mean? I'm gonna put this right here, but they only misled us because guess what? Our elders knew. A lot of our elders they converted over to the order and to the
Right.
occults and the esoterics. And guess what else they did? They sold us.
Yep.
They sold our birthright. You feel me? They cashed out on us. That's why we are working it. That's why now we are in the world now. We weren't in the world at first. We want other world. Now we other world. We playing sports for these people. You know what I mean? We cooking. We even got down to the where we cooking for the foreigner in our own neighborhood at the store that mom and pop used to own. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We in the kitchen and on the register. You know what I'm saying? Our own hood. You know what I'm saying? So they got us. They sold us all. Our own people did this. That's why if you look at, you say you from the 1980s, so you probably can relate to this. When you was a shorty coming up, if you remember, it was always those wealthy elders in your family, whether they was great aunts or great grandparents, or if they was grandparents. It was always a rich aunt. Where your husband at? Or he passed on way back before y'all was even thought of. Or Big Mama with Big Daddy at. Or he passed on. Or it's like, or if it was the other way around. But it's like they snaked out their own spouse. That one with it. Then they snaked out all everybody that came from up under. They made sure they shorties was straight. But when it came down to
Yeah.
us, they like, no, y'all can have them. You know what I'm saying? So they hit us with it, with the paganism, kept us in front of the TV. They got us. You know what I'm saying? Sent us to
Right.
school. They ain't go to school. You know what I mean? They got us with the fake stories, the fake make believe stories about all these make believe people. They dogged us. But you know what I'm saying? But I found out a long time. I'm gonna be quiet though, bro, because I'm saying too much. I'm gonna be quiet, bro. But yeah, bro.
No,
They
you
sold us
spitting
out.
you spitting what you need to get out, bro.
Yeah, you
Because
know what I'm saying? Because
you know what I'm
I caught
saying.
on with I caught on with me and one of my comrades. We was shorties, man. We busted move in the middle of the night, like two real ninjas, all black everything. We didn't even know what we was gonna do. We just walked up on it, like, oh man, what is this? Some merch. Oh, next thing you know, next couple of days later, my my grandpa summons me up. My father's pa, he summoned me up. He told me exactly what I did and who I did it with. He ain't know nothing about my partner. We didn't even know what we was gonna do that. Nobody know but me and bro. He knew exactly what we done, what we did with it and everything. And I was like, man, you know how somebody tell you something that's a secret that you supposed to be taking to the dirt, and it sting you so bad that you just say involuntarily, like, how you know? That's how I was dumbfounded. I was standing on this back porch, like, what? How you know? I couldn't even lie, bro. I couldn't even. I was like, what? I was so shocked. I was like, how you know? He was like, man, I'm a Mason. He like, they was finna get y'all up out the way, but I stopped it. And I was like, what is that? I was like, man, what is a Mason? He was like, yeah, he showed me the ring. And then I looked at his ring. I went outside. He had a couple of cars. I looked on the back of all his whips. He had that same sign. I looked on his mailbox. And I was like, man, I wonder what that is. And then I found out later on, you know. So I was like, I used to say, dang, my grandpa won. He was one. But then if he was one, guess what? My pop and all them, they very patriotic. They big time into the military. They big time in the law enforcement, all that. They be going to these lodges and stuff. And I caught on. I'm like, damn, that's why I got outed. That's why they kicked me out. They put the policy on me, like, go on here, let him throw him to the wolves. He ain't with it. He
Right.
ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? Let him go on here. We gonna cash out on him. He ain't with it. You know, we gonna sacrifice him. And I always used to wonder, like, damn, why they do me like that? I caught on, like, I ain't all of them with it.
Yep.
They all with it. Ain't none of this stuff by coincidence, bro. None of this by coincidence. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a mic up, but yeah, bro. My people, your people, they got us.
Yeah,
They
they
got
got
us,
us,
man.
bro, and that's the type of language I want to hear. They got us, and it's really the old versus the young. It ain't really old versus young, but that's who got us on the Masonic level, on the esoteric, secret society, all type of stuff. They was falling for, and like you said, they kept throwing us to the wolves based off their emotions. Now we here with the information, we can see plain as day, you know what I'm saying, how it played out. And the reason why I'm doing these videos is because I don't want us divided. The way we got did and how we working, when we had fortified fortresses protecting us, brick buildings, St. Louis, Detroit, New Orleans, Arkansas. Our high schools look like forts, bro. So we were protected and they threw us out to the wolves. We don't need to be divided with a Moors ain't from here, a Indian this, a Negro that. No, we know we from the hood. We don't got time for that, bro. And that's why I be up here schooling y'all like, look, stop going off this, arguing over these little terms when we got something way more important to fight. That's all I be. That's the straightening I bring. But I like your energy, bro, because that's what we need to do. Blame ourselves and blame our elders. That's what we need to start. They sold us out for this rinky dink religion. They sold us out for these Masonic secrets that wasn't no secret at all.
Nope.
And they sold us out for kibbles and bits, crumbs. So look, man, we got a different leadership. We made it. Let's take our culture and roll with what we got, man. We don't got time to argue because look what's going on with the European and Russia and all them countries. We don't got time. They're up here fighting each other. Let's regroup while they're fighting because when they get through fighting, they coming back for us. We already know what it is.
Yup.
Let's do what we got to do right now. That's all I'm saying.
We got to return the love because you know what? I turned over a new leaf recently where I started like, you know what? Why don't be mad at my brothers and sisters, folks, because they blind. I used to be blind too. I was in the dark. But you know what say me and you though? See what we say on the town. We grew up saying, oh, well, Mo, what's up, Lord? What's
Right.
up, folks? What's up, beloved? See, we grew up like, you know what I'm saying? What's up, folks? You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up speaking the lingo without even knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's in us. So you know we them people, you know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody didn't get that. You know what I mean? Everybody, all the brothers and sisters, a lot of brothers and sisters got scattered out. They came up on the outskirts. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they ain't come up around their people. So That's what is easy for people that's coming from our areas to you know what I mean? We just catch on one day, you know, because the whole time we being fed the dots. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like we being fed the dots our whole life. Then one day we just look around like, oh man, you know what? Oh, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, we them people for real. But the other brothers and sisters that then come up around a people, you know what I'm saying? Man, they got Motown in the shop, bro. You know what I'm saying? That down the street from where that cathedral you just had up there that's in St. Louis, down the street from there, it's a park that's commemorated to the ills and the babes.
That's what I be telling people. Y'all had a famous Moor out there too who got locked up. I think his name was
Yeah,
something.
Jerry Lewis Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Lewis Bay.
Jerry Lewis Bay, man, he got the key to Morocco. And America, like, oh, my other phone on the charger. Like, America is rich in culture, and that Mississippi and Chicago, St. Louis, Memphis, we are a ancient people, bro.
Yes.
And my people that's listening, y'all don't understand this because of the whitewash and religion, but y'all gotta catch on. We don't got time to keep playing these slow games, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why we online sacrificing our time. Like, look, y'all folks is tripping. They gonna been and took this whole country from us if y'all don't come together economically, man. Hold on, I got a guess up here. I got a guess up here. I think I got a guess. I think it's his women's son. I think.
No, it's his women's union.
Oh, his women union. Okay, ain't nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
Hey, is are you just for me to understand? You know the topic. Ah,
Okay,
are-
I
Yeah.
got you. Let me go back. Well, I actually went live from my other device, and I don't have the same images. I can put them back up in a little while. And I was having a little back and forth with another guy. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go and get these images so y'all can really know what we was talking about. One second. Hold on. All right, I got them right here because I don't want to mislead y'all. Bam, bam. Let's go here. So this right here, these images is talking about the Tartarian. And we're talking about the old buildings in America, as we can see. I just showed what the brother was talking about in St. Louis. So these dragons and stuff was in the medieval area and Tartarian. I'm showing this because this is our stuff. This is this bird in Illinois called Alton, Illinois, where our people built this old town. This bird right here is called the Semeru or the Kemeru bird or dragon bird. This is the Welsh bird, and we have Welsh surnames. We don't have English surnames. So people want to know, why do we have Welsh surnames if Welsh never had slaves? Because we are the free noble people in America. And they want to sit up here and whitewash our history and Africanize us. But when you do your genealogy, we're connected to this greatness. And it's right here in our face and those buildings. So let me show it one more time. Let's go get the building. Okay, let's go back. Here it is right here. So, like the brother from St. Louis is showing in his town. Hold on, where's that? I think it's okay. Okay, so this is in St. Louis, just like Chicago got all these buildings. We try to tell our people, look, we built these buildings. We have a rich culture. We're just not no Africans and all that, and you know, TP Indians. But most importantly, we have to embrace our diversity, right? Within. So it's a complicated matter because we are not what they say we are, but we are a diverse people that has a connection to the old world. So
Right.
once we embrace that, we'll understand who we was prior to this new history. Is what I'm trying to convey.
Okay. So my question is like, what us knowing this, because I really feel like people who educate themselves and seek clarity will understand that the the black melanated people were not just slaves or all Africans. Slavery existed all over the world actually before the 1500s coming into America. So the establishment of slavery already existed. I
Right.
guess more so I was more attracted to the picture, this one, where cuz I'm a Christian, so I didn't know if you were trying to refute Christianity, trying to like, speak down
Yeah.
on it.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Okay, so this picture was in response to somebody from the islands who was saying we are not called Moors in America. And I pointed out to them that Latin America specifically call us Moreno.
Morenos.
Now,
Morenos.
right. So
Morican is what we living at.
exactly. So we are
Seafarers,
Moors.
with what they call them, the Morenos, for the
Exactly.
people that navigate the oceans and the seas.
Exactly. So they're trying to say Moors are not from America, but Latin is the oldest language, and they call us Moors. That's the only thing they call us. So they don't make sense because we are the Creole people. So
Yeah.
most importantly, this picture right here predates the religion of Christianity. It's called Marianism, and it's the Immaculate Conception of women giving birth to babies without men. It
Yeah, without men.
predates Jesus.
Yeah,
So
they
Wait,
can
this
so
do
was
you're
this.
our
saying that this
religion. What I'm saying is this was our religion, motherhood, not the patriarch religion, which the Pope of Rome replaced our religion. So I'm not talking down on Christianity. I'm just saying we are different than them. We are Moors. Moors and Christians are not the same people, but our people started adopting Christianity and they forgot who they were. That's what
You
I'm
know,
saying.
I
Well,
wanted to tell
I
us.
can
Oh, go ahead,
interject
sister.
if I could interject on that because I'm not Native American. I am Congolese. I'm from Africa, and I feel like I have a more clarity of the going backwards in history.
Yeah.
Um, so just because remember, the history of the Bible does not belong to the Romans. It doesn't belong to biblical. I mean, to Catholic history. All of that predates, like what they're giving, because if you compare it to what's in the Bible and then you compare what they're spewing out, it doesn't align with itself, you know?
Yeah. I agree. In the
Go
Bible,
ahead.
When it
Let me
comes
listen.
down to speaking about Jesus, um the prophecy, the prophetic teaching of
right.
a virgin that will be born, that will, birth a son, the whole purpose of that is salvation, meaning we have the fall through Adam and we have the redemption through Jesus. But in
Right.
order for him to be both divine and flesh, he have to have the divine nature
Hold
of
on,
his
wait, no.
spiritual father
Okay.
and then have his nature of the flesh, which is the mother, right?
Okay.
So the concept of that prophetic word was already given way before the establishment of the Roman church and all the other stuff. Other religions, because you have to incorporate spiritual warfare. Remember, I don't know if you know about the Bible, but in the Bible it speaks about how in Genesis, when the fall of man happened, it was already proclaimed towards the enemy that there will be a son, a child born in the world that will save humanity from what you just caused here in the garden.
Okay.
And so it's not, I can understand how the enemy tries to deceive other nations in incorporating a virgin birth in their storyline to cause deception because there's a true one that's coming.
I feel you, and
And
I
so,
don't want to argue that, and I understand revelations and prophecy of the Messiah. I'm not taking away from that.
Yeah,
So
he talking about the
what we're
religion.
dealing with, we're dealing with God the Creator versus a Messiah's revelation.
Look,
So no
well,
matter
that
what, 1 second. No matter how sinful and how far man has fallen, that's not taken away from the science that that child came from a woman's womb. So what we're arguing is if you came from a woman's womb, how are you a god? See, it's just simple math with us. And
can I
how did
answer
you
that?
get to this
Because it's
planet
an
without a
can I
woman?
say something real quick, y'all?
Oh yeah,
Real
go
quick,
ahead.
sister.
yeah.
Real quick. I'm with you, sister. I follow the Messiah. I'm with the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? All the way, all the way. But I'm not a Christian though, because Christianity was given to the Gentiles by Paul the apostle, and he told you that he's not an apostle unto the holy children. He's an apostle unto the Gentile nations. But to each his own, you know what I'm saying? As long as you know them
But do you
scriptures,
understand
I don't
why
like
that
nobody
is?
religion. But I want to ask you this about slavery real quick. I'm gonna mic up and let y'all go back. Do you believe that millions, like we do a little number, like hundreds of millions of people were enslaved and maintained by a couple of people?
Yeah, it predates since the
Oh
beginning
yeah.
of time. Yeah.
So basically it was like 300, 400,000 people on one plantation, and then it was just one slave master and his family. That don't even make no sense. Then plus two, look,
Wait, I
if Africans was colonized, right? So why didn't you name, if you just wanted the labor and you wanted the land, why you ain't just keep the Africans where they was at and just take their stuff and make them work right there? You know what I'm saying? You don't take sand to a beach, so it's like that story is not real.
wait.
But
What story are you saying? Because there's a lot of confusion in what you're saying. If a wicked person want to be wicked, they're gonna be wicked. I mean, if you go back to Bible, the Bible speaks about slavery and all that stuff that was happening and the wickedness upon other
yeah,
nations
and it told you
before
specifically.
anything had to do with Africa.
Yeah, but it
So
told you specifically who was gonna do it. The Persians, the Medes. It told you the Pacific group of people that done it to the Hebrew Israelites.
even
They
Israelites
didn't
were
do
slave
it. The
owners.
YTs didn't do it. That story already been happening a long time ago, way before they even came into the picture. So they took a story out of the Bible and pushed it all the way up to recent times and said that they did it. And that's the explanation of how all these brothers and sisters got over here when we over here, we cover the whole face of the earth before anybody existed. So
When
why
you
would you have to
say
take a bunch of people from this location and put them over here when they was already over there is what I'm saying.
okay, to be honest, I don't know your point. I feel like it's a lot of like ABCDEFG merged into one because there's a lot of confusion in your statement. Like
No, this is
there's
what I'm
no
telling you. If
actual
look,
ground.
if our people listen, if so-called black people covered the whole entire face of the earth before anybody else existed, and we created all these other sub groups of people, but before anybody else existed, our people, us so-called black people, by all these different nationalities, tribes, and cultures, traditions, whatever you have it, we covered the whole entire face of the planet. What I'm
Well,
asking you
actually,
is, why would somebody, me, why would I have to take a bunch of people, millions and millions of people out of Africa and take them over to America when it was already probably a couple of billion of the same people already over here? You would save yourself the labor is what I'm telling you. It don't make no sense. That's why I say you
so
don't take sand to a beach.
but you're asking a question that's not even like for us to answer. I don't know why would they take people and cross an ocean and risk their lives as well because y'all forgetting too that the people being masters on a ship, their life is on at the risk too.
Yeah, because
But
they didn't
my
do it.
point is
They didn't
my
do it is
point
what I'm telling
is
you. They didn't do that. They never
okay.
did none of that.
Okay, so okay, so I think I'm getting what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that there were already native black people here on in America and they were the ones enslaved, pretending they
Man,
were
this whole entire country, the way it look right now, take away the cars and the airplane. Well, the planes was probably here too. I think the planes was here when they got here. But we had this whole entire thing built up. This whole entire hemisphere was filled with not just civilizations, ancient civilizations. That's what cities are. They just came over here and took over. They just came over here and just rushed us and just started taking stuff. They tell you that. They tell you about their great migration really happened in the mid 1800s, and they came over by the multitudes after the invention of the steam engine and the steamship. They did not
okay.
come over here in no 1500s. They weren't even around back then. So they took a story that really happened in the Bible a long time ago, and they just, you know what I mean, switched it around. They the ones who came over here by the multitudes, not us.
I,
They are the Slavic people, not us.
okay. I don't know how to respond because I feel like there's some truth and then there's some conception of like your views and there's like a big disagreement of this and that and this and that because there's a lot going on with your statement. and there's no way to kind of like refute.
Nah, because you wanna, because our people like to hold on to that.
There's no our
We
people
like to use that to
nothing.
trauma bond. Like, man, they did this to us and they did that. They took us all the way from Africa. They came to Africa to whoever they wanted.
Can
Took
I
us. They
say
had us on them
something?
ships. Like, man, when nobody's, they had us on them ships like sardines at the bottom. We couldn't even breathe. They ain't feed us no food. Couldn't drink the water.
Slavery
You
is
was in a boat without no motor in
mostly
it.
victorious. I
That's
will
what I'm
say
saying.
that.
Like, the story is fake, but we like to hold on to that
It
because
can't be fake because
that's when we
slavery.
become conscious when we learn that story.
Oh Lord.
I
Okay.
would like to add something.
Mhm.
It's just common sense. Like, who is gonna, be a slave in North America being beat for 400 years?
Right? Since that don't even make no sense. It's impossible.
Exactly.
How you get across that ocean without
Deborah,
no
can you
engine in
help
a
me
boat?
understand
How
what
you?
he's trying to say? Because I feel like you kind of know. Help me figure this out. What is he trying to say?
What, like, he's basically saying that, like, millions of people then come over here from Africa.
Okay, so what's the point? I mean, there are some that did come, and there are some that didn't. I do believe that there were already people native to the land of America, and they weren't just considered Indians. I do agree on that. But
No, see, that's why I'm telling you. Like, no, what you're not understanding is that you're bringing in the newest you bringing in the newest offspring to mankind, which is the YT man. He just got on the planet not that long ago. He ain't been around no thousands of years. He ain't been around no hundreds of years. Then then you trying to include some hybrid species. You know that
there are no
everybody that's mixed look
hybrid.
alike. So how's you know? That's why I'm saying you want the Native Americans to be these mixed people that's half YT.
think I
And they
think
don't go like, you know what I'm saying? No,
Hmm.
those are not original people. So you got to exclude them out the whole history.
okay. So I feel like your posture to it, because of how you said earlier, you said, "Oh, you believe in the Messiah, but you're not a Christian." I kind of have an idea of where your heart posture is. It is incorrect to
Yeah,
even
because Jesus Christ wasn't no
draw a
Christian.
line, if I
Christ
could say.
wasn't Jesus. Hey,
Okay,
Jesus, Yahshua HaMashiach. Hey,
so
Yahshua HaMashiach, Yahya, he was not no
for
Christian. That
anybody,
didn't even exist when he was here. Go find
for
where Jesus said he was a
anyone
Christian or told anybody to
to
be one. I follow the Messiah.
disqualify
I don't
a
follow
white
Paul.
person, for
You
anyone to
get, cause you
disqualify
from,
a
you know
white
what, sis, I'm finna
person
mic up because I
and
know you going.
say,
You getting emotional because you
"No,
don't
you're
want
being
all this
rude,"
greatness to
and
belong solely to black people without y'all being able to say we didn't come from y'all,
I
shorty.
let you speak.
We the mothers and fathers of
It's not a
civilization over here.
conversation.
This the
I just,
motherland.
I just,
Exactly.
So just to make it plain, this the motherland over here. Nobody brought us over here.
all right, all
My
right.
family was already here. They didn't come from off no boat across from Africa.
All right,
Okay, so
so here's Women Union. You ready to get back to this argument?
yeah,
So
I
my
just wanted to.
argument was we was talking about immaculate conception. When we look at the character Jesus, I'm finna give you two arguments that's common sense. So we know this child's name was not Jesus. If my name is Mark, my name is gonna be Mark in Russian or China. They're not gonna change my name.
Wait, why are
When
you
my
showing me
mom
an
almost done.
image? Why are you showing me an image? I don't. The Bible says that don't have any graven image. So
Okay,
for
the
you to
Bible can
give
say
me
what
that,
we're listen, ma'am. The Bible can say whatever it wants to say. I'm having an adult, mature discourse with you right now.
but
I'm
you heard how
making a
you
point.
just say you're having an adult conversation, and I'm refuting against it, and you disregard me. That
Yeah,
doesn't.
because you interrupted me while I was talking. No, I got to make a point. You don't even know what point I'm making.
But you're
I'm
showing
not
me a
going against
graven
your
image to prove
religion.
the
I'm not.
Bible, and the Bible says don't do this. So this doesn't make
Okay, the
sense to
Bible can
me.
say what it want to say. I'm an adult. I'm gonna do what I want to do. You understand?
What
I'm gonna do what I
conclusion that
want to
is
do.
best?
Yeah, your beliefs don't surmise my beliefs. You can believe what you want to believe, man. I'm not gonna hate you for that.
That
I'm
doesn't
making a
make
point
sense.
right now. So when I'm going off 2 points. The fact that this name Jesus is an anglicized or Europeanized rendition of a man whose name was possibly Yahawashi or Yahshua, something like that. So his name is not going to change. And we understand the letter J possibly didn't exist into the 1600s. So the ancient Hebrew name would have been something else. That's not the point that I'm making, though. The point that I'm making is even the character itself says that it comes from a Mary. It was born to Mary. So the point I'm making is if this person was a god, it wouldn't have to come off a woman's womb. You understand me? So we question the authenticity of any God, the authenticity of any God that was once a child that had to be breastfed. You're not a God. You don't you you're not my leader. You're not the creator if you had to be a little baby and somebody had to change your diaper. You see what I'm
What?
saying? So
Okay.
these are not gods. These are mere men with a message
Oh,
to
Lord.
help humanity. Jesus is not my God. And
So my question
Jesus
to
is
you
not older
is,
than his mother.
okay, so my question to you is, if you're going to use Bible to refute this and make your argument, will you let Bible define Bible? Or will you just nitpick?
Yeah, because I don't even believe the
No,
Messiah is a man.
will you
I
let
believe the
Bible?
Messiah, I don't believe the Messiah is a man, first of all. And second of
Oh my
all,
God.
the English American revision of history absolutely hurts the case of the Bible because we understand it was revised. So since it was
Okay,
revised,
so where is
yes,
your proof to say that, hey, we have the revised? Where can you send us to say this is the original one here, and Christians, the one you have here is incorrect versus the hearsay? Show me where to go for me to say, not written by man, but the originality of people, not the revised version. But you go ahead and tell me where to go exactly to say this is the real one here. Tell me, not Google, exactly to say this is the real one here. Tell me, not Google. Where is it
okay.
at?
So in 1566, King
No,
James
before
revised. I got you.
1566.
You can't just cut me off. I got to give you an explanation. My explanation ain't gonna be 2 words. So the Bible was revised by King James in 1566.
You're
In
incorrect.
1877, it was interpreted in English by the Americans and the British.
I feel like you're
And
reading
I'm
something.
gonna make one more point. I understand you're anxious. The Bible is not just one book. It's a compilation of books that existed at different time periods. These are different books that were collected from different parts of the world. Some of the things in these books, in these specific books, the people in the books don't know about people in the other books. So the Bible is just not a unilateral object. It's a compilation of many books like the book of Enoch. When we're talking about Moses, the era of Moses, when we're talking about Genesis, when we're talking about Revelation, these are different time periods and this is different information. You understand what I'm saying? So when we're talking about the Messiah, this story is distorted because it originates in a savior or a hero coming back, similar to the Buddha reinventing and reincarnating himself. This sort of Melchizedek or Archangel Michael sort of figure that's coming back, sort of like the Indian Hindu gods, Krishna. So this is what we're dealing with this Jesus character, this so-called savior coming to save humanity. And like I said, that's not necessarily my God. You can go into a book and you can believe a book that someone writ and trained you to absorb. That don't mean that I have to accept that. And that has always been a problem for non-Christians. When a Christian finds some another person that don't accept their story and their God, they just cannot accept the
But
fact that
okay.
we interpret it differently than y'all. And you cannot sit up here and tell me this little boy who came through this woman's womb is a God.
Okay, so if you're going to refute the Bible, at least read it because you're misunderstanding the entire point of why there's a whole this whole concept of salvation. If
Right.
you if you look at the Bible, okay, and I don't want to go off, but I just want to really just clarify, conclude, and I'll go. The whole purpose of the Bible is salvation. When God created Adam, He created Adam to be in his presence, to be with the Lord. You had Eve that came out of Adam, and boom. That's why it says that Adam is the first of mankind, but every person was born from Eve, right? There, that's why the Lord told them to be fruitful and multiply, because now the conception of birth is now available because there's a male and a female. She has the womb, she's a carrier, he is a seed giver. So fast forward, you have Adam and Eve that fell from grace. They fell from being in the presence of God because they hearkened to the voice of the enemy. And they were no longer in the space of being with the Lord. Okay? So they got kicked out of the garden, and through one man, humanity fell. Through one man, humanity is redeemed. It had to be flesh because the consequences of sin, the cost of it needed to be paid. It wanted life. Okay, that's why the curse was, okay, you will now be unalived. But in order for you to have life and be back with me, the cost of sin has to be paid. So when you look at John chapter 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh. So this Word had to be born and become flesh in order to take on the nature of divinity from the Father, being full God, and take on the nature of man, flesh, through the woman. That's the only way to come through. A man doesn't give birth, a woman does. That's why this is the holy conception. And the whole purpose of Jesus being born is so that the flesh nature can pay the debt of sin, because sin wanted its debt to be paid. And that's why it says through Jesus, our debts are paid. That's why if you submit yourself to Christ, you are free, because in him and him alone, our debts of death is paid off.
I feel
That's
you.
the entire purpose of salvation.
Right.
And so when you look at the enemy, if you're going to acknowledge Jesus and say how you believe this and that, you have to acknowledge that the Bible teaches us that you have Satan, you have demons that are going to mimic and falsify the word of God. There are so many nations that are being led by principalities that are against God, and they're going to mimic holy conception. They're going to get the story out before the real story come. That is the reason why all them other religions, you do not see a story of a demon coming after her and the child. They're left alone. They're glorified and they're worshiped. But the true living God, through Mary, who we have is Jesus, right? That is the only miracle conception story that is being attacked and dismantled. Everyone hates it. Everyone spews it out. That's because that's the only true one. All the other religions, they don't have a story where a demon is after, or the principality of wickedness is after to devour that mother and child. They give her worship and holiness untouched. So y'all have to think, if I'm going to use Bible and try to dismantle Bible, then use Bible logic of what it's the purpose of it. So for you to be like, oh, well, the Bible was written by white man and rewritten and undone. The only story that is trying to be dismantled, that is attacked, that is whitewashed, that is just all over the place, is the only one that's the truth, because it holds real weight. And what I was telling you is that even this picture alone, I don't recognize this picture. The reason why is because the Bible says don't have any graven image of the Lord. So if the Bible tells us not to have a graven image, just because people turn around and say, hey, here's a picture of Jesus, that goes against the word of God. And
Yeah.
if you're acknowledging Jesus to have 12 disciples, not one of them drew a picture of him. Not one of them led us, where's a picture of Christ? They have pictures of everybody else. You have pictures of the king and stuff on coins and shirts and this and all that stuff scrolled. It's everywhere else, but the picture of God, of Jesus, it's not given to us, because again, it was going to take away the whole purpose as to why he's here. It wasn't for his image, it was for his purpose. And that's the problem. And I will say, and then I'm done, I promise you. I'm sorry if I feel like, I'm going all over the place, but I want y'all to understand that it's not about white man, black man. It's not about the white person, it's not about that. Because if in the beginning God created man from dirt, and a woman came out of him, and they were able to multiply, that means there is a multitude of shade coming from that woman, because that they're the beginning. You have white people who look white, or today we identify them through the color of their skin, when in the Bible it identified people through the nationality, the nation they were born into. So you could have been a white looking guy and you were a natural born Israelite. But the difference is the enemy is going to cause division and separate people through the color and cause deception in the future. So the conversations of white versus black and stuff like that, a lot of your white brothers and sisters are actually your blood relative. So to argue about the separation of white man and black man and blah, 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 that is what the enemy is doing, and you guys are falling to it. That's why in the Bible it says there's neither Jew nor Gentile, no man, no woman. There's no one above other than the other except through Christ, except Jesus and him alone. That's it.
All right. So, and you're from Congolese, Africa, and you're a Christian, and
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. So now it's my turn. And I'm American. I'm from Chicago. And so we have a concept in America. It's called the Great Mother. And like you said, Eve came from Adam's rib. That's not what we teach in America. And I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you the coldest breakdown while we're having this conversation. So before I do that, let me see if I can pull something else up. I want to pull something else up. I'm gonna do this right quick. Hold on. I think I got it. This might be it. No, this is not it. I don't have it. I do have it. Yes, I do. I have to show this image before I go in. Please be patient, y'all. Okay, it's right here. Where is she at? Where is she? Here she go, right here. Bam, hold on. Okay, this is Our Lady of Guadalupe. So this is the point I'm finna make. Like how she just said that Eve came from Adam's rib. So we don't teach that in America. That don't fly with us. And I'm finna give you an example why we don't teach that here and why we're different.
I'm in America. I have both sides, native
No,
and
I had already let you talk. I had let you talk as long as possible. I'm finna make a point now. So let's go back to the Lady of Guadalupe. I just showed y'all her image. And I'm about to make a point. I let her make a point of salvation and, the purpose of Jesus and Adam and all of that. So I'm about to make a point that y'all need to pay attention to. So before I make that point, hold on. This is what the Pope had to say about the Virgin of Guadalupe. The greatest theme I have for the Virgin of Guadalupe of Mexico is unquestionable, the Pope said. But I realize that her origins are here. I should have come here before going to Tepeyac Basilica to better understand Mexican devotion. So why did I bring that up? Let me show you why I brought that up. Let's go back to square one. So this is the basilica that we find in St. Louis that the brotherhead came up here talking about because he's from St. Louis. And we were talking about how these are our buildings, how they existed before the Europeans got here. And the sister who was just up here talking, she tried to, she's telling us don't worry about black and white. don't try to use the Bible as the white man rewrote the Bible as an excuse to stay away from the Bible. Well, let me teach you something right quick. So the Europeans that gave you this Bible in English, they teach a history that they got here in 1500s. After 1492, after the Moors were expelled from Europe, this is what they teach. In America, we have a concept called Great Mother. We don't teach that a woman comes from a man's rib. So we teach that nature shows that every child comes from the womb of a mother. So women represent antiquity, and they represent a mystery that we can't explain, because you cannot show us anybody in history that got here on earth without a woman. All you can do is tell us a story from a book. You'll never ever show us any history and evidence of anybody getting on earth without a woman. So in America, like I said, we have this culture and it's still intact, as we can see with these buildings.
So who brought the woman?
So I'm gonna go in and Adam. I'm gonna go in on Adam in 1 minute, bro. Give me 1 second, but let me paint this picture of the woman. So the great concept of the woman, the great matriarch in America, is ancient, and it existed before the Europeans got here. So the point I'm making is this Bible that she's mentioning, that she uses for her redemption and salvation, we were over here building these buildings, living our lives before they got here with that Bible. So how were we able to live and exist without this Bible and without their teachings? I'm gonna tell you how. Because we already knew how to live and exist. They didn't have to teach us nothing. So we were able to exist without their indoctrination for thousands and thousands of years. It's proof it's irrelevant. We never needed it. Destruction didn't come until we start accepting their terminology on us coming from some strange God, right? So it's very important to know why they want to erase the history of mother, because they cannot prove what mother come from. Mother is the creator. She's the great creator. And that's what we teach over here. And we never strayed away from this information.
I'm gonna get you.
Christianity is a religion that tries to justify man's superiority over woman and magically appearing on earth without a woman's womb via Adam, and some male God created him, when we know that is false. 2, 1, this is how we know it's false. The people that perpetuate this religion, they didn't invent it. They borrowed it. They copied it. 2, they have no proof at all. They will never show you any evidence of a man being born without a woman. And this is what they're trying to do, to usurp the woman civilization that existed prior to this movement,
Can I ask
this
you?
male patriarch religion. I'll
Are
let
you
you
saying
go.
God is a woman? And then, so help me understand, right? Are you saying that, okay, God is a woman and then created a woman on earth and then birthed
No, I'm
man?
not giving God a sex. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, physically, y'all have no evidence of a man creating himself without a woman. Y'all
No,
have
no, no.
no
I'm
evidence
asking
at
your
all.
belief. So just so that I'm on the same page with you.
Right.
So
Yeah,
my
yeah, my
question
belief
is,
is in
if
mother, because y'all don't have no evidence of otherwise.
but you had
Let
cut
me
off.
just be
You cut
brief.
off. Hold on. Say that again. You had cut off.
I'm saying is, my belief is in mother, the mother culture, because y'all don't have no evidence otherwise. Y'all are just making up a God and a son. Y'all have no proof other than
So
y'all
to help
telling
me
us we
understand,
have actual proof of women giving birth. Y'all don't have no evidence
no,
of
I
nothing.
I hear you. I want to understand you. That's my I'm asking my question is from the beginning, right? Who was established who first? So are you
Uh,
saying that a woman was established first and then birthed humanity through her, meaning there was no man? Or are you acknowledging Adam post creation of woman? That's what I'm asking.
yes,
How did mankind come to be? Can you break that down? Like in the most simplest form.
yes. I can break it down on a spiritual, divine level, and natural phenomenon, what we witness, how everything comes through the female portal, so we
Okay.
can witness it. So second of all, um um even in nature, all around us, we like I do believe in a creator. Don't get me wrong, that I don't believe in a creator, intelligent creator, which is sexualist, by the way. But physically, we can't say a male is a god when he comes from the woman womb. And I'm bringing this up because y'all God in particular is shown to come from Mary. So I'm not talking about mankind. I'm not talking about man. I'm talking about y'all's God, Jesus, actually comes from a woman womb. I'm not talking about Adam either.
Okay,
Y'all's God,
I
he
just
comes from a woman. So he's not a God. And I don't want to beat around the bush and talk
you're not
about
answering
stuff
my
that's
question.
irrelevant.
I need understanding from the beginning.
There you go too.
The
Okay, so
beginning. Can you
I skipped that.
explain?
My bad, my bad.
Thank
So
you.
creative fate. Since creative fate, we don't have any real evidence of when women created themselves, but we know they created themselves through creative fate. The woman created us. That's why I'm going with creation. She created males, right? And anything else we can think of. This what we call Mother Nature and the physical mother. So
Wait,
that's why I'm going with it.
okay, so you're saying that a woman, okay, so you're saying God, the divine existent, is not man or woman. It was just there. And
Right.
then
With
a
thought.
woman came to be, just boom, out of nowhere.
Right.
And
The
then all of a
birthing
sudden here
process.
she's
Right.
then she has the power on her own. She has the power on her own to start procreating men and women.
And engineering their bodies to their liking. Exactly. So whether women, when we're talking about the clitoris of a woman,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they saying I'm being flagged for hate speech. I'm finna go and get up out of here. But yeah, when we talking about women back in them days, whether they be hermaphrodites, with strange clitorises and beards, all types of women that evolved into what they are today and what we think a man or a male should be or mankind. And we know Abraham religion is what ushered in this the patriarch versus the Canaanites, which was matriarch. So patriarch
So
comes with a time period, which is Abraham. So what I'm saying is these women went many changes
Beat that.
until
Nice.
they fashion for themselves what is to be
Perfect.
man today, right? But through mother's
so can a
creation,
woman
this
procreate
process of
today?
nature is where we all come from.
So can a woman procreate today without male? And is there any proof of that today? Like, is that possible?
Yes, it's called immaculate conception, and it's observed not only in seahorses but in lizards and in women. In women.
So you're comparing us to reptiles who
No,
need different type of ways of
I mean it
living
don't matter. It
towards
don't matter.
man. I'm saying no. I want to understand you, okay? I'm saying when it comes down to humanity, not animals, because animals live differently, they're adapted differently. I'm asking about mankind. So you're telling me that a woman, right, without a spiritual intervention, right? Because if you're saying that a woman just come out of nowhere, she's able to give birth to male and female, that means that's the nature of her doing it without a spiritual intervention. So not the immaculate conception that you're saying, but I'm talking about the natural part of a woman. She could just give birth on
I
her
don't know
own
how. I wasn't there, and that's the problem with y'all as well. Y'all wasn't there, so how you trying to tell me something?
because we see it today, and
No,
and
you
it's
didn't see
proof and
God
it's
do nothing. You
scriptures
did
and
not see God or Jesus do nothing. Like, stop it. No, you didn't.
we see everything now. The sun is in obedience to how it was called to be. The light and dark exists without the sun and moon. That's a proven fact. That the Bible's the only
So
one
you
that
saying the
specifies
Son is
that.
God?
Did
No,
I
I'm
say that?
asking you. I'm just asking you respectfully, man. I need
The sun
evidence.
was created
You
by
want me
God
to have evidence? Okay, so we can see the Son, but we can't see God, though. That's my problem.
because he's an invisible God. Remember, we're fallen.
I don't remember nothing. I just know somebody told you that. I'm not following.
So if you're going through Bible, I'm going off of Bible teachings. Adam and Eve were with God. They walked with him. But when they sinned, right, they ran and they hid themselves and they knew they were naked. That's why God called out to them and was like, Adam, where
Yeah,
are
I
you?
don't
Adam
believe that
hid
at
from
all.
God
I
till
don't
he
believe
saw
that
him.
at all. I'm gonna be saying.
I'm using Bible history to
I don't
prove
believe
that.
in Bible history because I
Okay.
just pointed.
Then why are you using it and refuting it? That don't
See,
make sense.
listen, I just pointed out to you that it was a people in America building buildings like this before they even knew about the Bible. That's what I'm telling you. It was civilizations building pyramids before they
Gotta get
knew
that.
about the Bible. So people
Do
existed
you even know
without
the
that
purpose of pyramids?
information. So it's not even
Good next
vital
car.
to society. I mean, to survival. It's not vital to our survival. We thrive and we've developed highly advanced civilizations without a Bible right here in America. So, I mean, it's not necessary, but when it comes to salvation and sinning, I understand that message and the lower self and the devil and all of that. That's good information when you reflecting on yourself. But I don't believe in it verbatim and literally. I don't believe in it. And I do know about the Bible. I do know about Revelations and Genesis and, how the beast kingdom is going to, fall or whatever. I know about those things. But when we're talking about man's origin and God and all of that, that's a touchy situation because I don't believe, like, this is what I believe. Time never was when man was not. If there was ever a time man began, there will be a time man end. So we can't put a timetable on our existence because some people compiled a book called the Bible. I'm not going to let them do that. But at the same time, we have to have a scientific explanation to why we exist. I respect that. And the scientific
So what's the
explanation that I come
scientific
up with,
nature of a
you
woman?
cannot tell me where women come from. You have no scientific explanation where a woman comes from. But we
A
know where
woman
we
comes from
come from.
man.
We come from the womb of a mother. You have no
Yeah.
proof where women come from. And you cannot tell me she comes from a man who came from a woman
Yeah.
named Adam. How the hell did
A
Adam
man
get
was
here?
created first in the image of God. That proves to you God is a man.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, God is not because
If God identify, if you're gonna recognize the Bible, right? That's the only way I can refute it. If God in the Bible identifies himself as a he, why are you upset that I'm defining him as that?
because God
It
didn't
doesn't
write
make
that
sense.
Bible.
If you're going
He
to,
did not
if
write
you
that
do not
Bible, ma'am.
believe,
Ma'am.
if you do not if you do not believe in the Bible, it is very, very weird to have a whole topic about how you're going to nitpick what's in Bible, disregard it here,
That's not
and then
my
when
topic.
somebody helps
That's
you
not my topic
argument,
at all. My
you
topic
grab
was
stuff.
about the buildings. You came up here because you seen La Moranita and you thought that was God. You thought that was
No, I
it. Let
didn't
me show
think
you.
that. I was asking, did I respectfully, did I not ask you to clarify what was your argument,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
And the
clarifying.
other man,
You said that you're not supposed to show graven images, so you assume that I said that this was not.
no,
Hold
do
on.
not lie on me. I respectfully hopped on here and asked you, can you clarify what you're talking
Yeah,
about so I can
I'm
respectfully
not
hop on.
lying on you. I heard you say
Okay.
that you're not
The
supposed
other
to show
man
it.
started throwing stuff in there and it changed the
I'm
dynamic of
not
our
throwing nothing in there.
conversation.
I can repeat you verbatim. You said that you're not supposed to show graven images. This is not a
Because
graven
you were talking
image.
about immaculate conception. That's what you brought up. And I was refuting that, hey, this imagery that you're saying came first and the white man stole it. I'm
I didn't
saying that
say
if there
that.
is,
I said they whitewash it now because they don't want you to know you had a religion before their religion. That's my
is that
only
not what
point.
I just said? The white man took it and whitewashed it and presented something to us apparently to say, hey, this is our
Not
view. But
necessarily
I'm
the white man, but some very wicked people.
But I'm telling you, the Bible says not to do that. So if it's presented to us by man and they're not aligning themselves with the Bible, that just tells you that's a posture of wickedness. That's not a posture
But
of what God told
this
us.
is not a graven image. I don't think I fully explained to you what this is.
That's what a graven image
No,
is.
it's
It's an
not. No,
image
it's
that's
not.
great. Okay.
So this is
All right.
not.
Well, I thank you for being on the host.
All right,
I
I
appreciate
appreciate you, but
it.
let me explain to my audience. This is not a graven image. This is a scientific display and proof where you come from, my people. And this is not arguable because they can't show you anything else. All they can do is tell you about a God that don't exist. Our science is simple. You have a mother, you come from her womb. That's your elder, that's your spokesperson. That's your leader. That's our science. We don't teach anything else. They're telling us, oh, a God just talked to some air and appeared to you. They have no proof. She'll never show you this God ever, never, never. Jesus is never gonna come talk to her ever in existence, y'all. But your mother is. So we just keep it simple and basic. We don't want to go extending our thoughts beyond our means. See, they extend their thoughts beyond their means and get to talking about stuff that they can't handle and determine. We do. This is what our culture is right here, mother. We can see it. We can see the sun giving birth during the eclipse. We can see the nature recycling itself during the spring and the fall. We can witness these things. We cannot witness any of the stuff that they're telling us about and then get mad because we say, show us the money. Well, show us your God. Show us the process. Oh no, we gotta wait. You gotta wait till the Messiah come back at the last day after the devil get through taking everything off the earth. You gotta wait. This is what they want us to believe. We got to sit up here and wait for the devil to devour the earth. Then some Messiah is going to save us from our sin. This is mind fuckery. This is inception of the mind that they want you to be accustomed to devalue yourself to acquiesce to, instead of living your life as you want to desire based off the facts in front of you that your mother is your creator. Hands down. This is what it is, and I'm sorry we got to go through this with this, these type of people. So what you were saying, Sumerian? Yeah, the time is now, Karma. I can tell you get it, and I just want my mission since I got into this community was to uplift as so many women as possible. Like once y'all get it and understand who y'all is, it's going to translate to us. We're gonna glow. Y'all have to know y'all are the mothers, the creators, direct representation of the creation process. Directly. Y'all determine who gets here. So we don't have no God. We don't have nothing outside of ourselves. We don't have time to waste. This is what the ancestors left us for a reason. They left this woman and child because they knew that the devil was going to try to give us something else. Some fake God creating Adam and all of that. And you know, and the woman was a sinner, and the woman sinned with Eve. And I mean,
But
we existed before all of that shit. Get out of here. So I don't got time for that.
yeah, he was cheating.
Yeah, I don't got time for none of that, y'all. And if we can get so many women to wake up and get up out of that indoctrination, we can give birth to a new world and lead them behind. That's all I want to do. Create a defense, fortified defense area for women that get it to be protected. Cause y'all are in danger. They're trying to replicate and clone y'all and replace y'all. And suppress y'all women who ain't gonna be saturated with misinformation. Because in order to give your child the light, you gotta have the light. If your womb is dim and dull, your child is gonna be a little deprived. So you have to have the light yourself, woman. And that's why they use these imagery to devote yourself to prop up yourself so your child can have that same energy transferring. And they are just dumbing you down all the way around because they know your light shine the most. And once you get it, your child, your creation is gonna have that genetic makeup that you know input into them versus what they trying to input in them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I wish we could be a part of that. A part of this whole process, uplifting our American women back to her greatness versus these fake gods, and these religions and these terms. He said, you subscribe to the Moors. No, not really. I would subscribe to the Americans. I subscribe to the Americans. I guess I'm finna go ahead and go. But nah, yeah, I don't do all that stuff, man. Who is the Circle 7 about? It don't matter. It really don't matter. Yeah, the American woman has to stop. Well, we can't tell them what to do. All we know is love. If we just spread love, love will just, spread throughout the land and give her a better chance and not disliking herself. It's just so much going on in America, man, with the bees. And the other woman wasn't wrong. It's just that she couldn't answer to why men, come from the woman, because she believed in Adam so much. You know what I'm saying? So you feel me? She wasn't wrong about salvation or whatever, and her people sinning. Because we all fall short. Our people wasn't right about everything, but now we know a little bit more about man and woman and having children and spirituality. We understand a little bit more as a people, and that's what it's all about: man and woman understanding. If you put it to the test and it didn't shake back, but I know the Bible real, I know Christ. Yeah, trust me, I understand y'all, man. We can go into the psychology of the mind, how you can attract what you pray for, you can attract what you think. We can go into all that psychology, no matter if you call them Christ or whatever you call. All around the world, there has been some connection to prayer and the magnetic response to your thoughts of commanding your thoughts. There's a connection. No matter what you call this character, Christ or whatever. I'm not taking that away from the science behind it, but it's your mind, your thought. Whatever you thinking, it gravitates. It mesmerizes. So it's your thinking. It's no God. It's nobody but you. If you think about water, you're gonna go drink water. If you think about taking a walk, you're gonna take a walk. If you think about putting on your shoes, yeah, and the list goes on. The thought is the cause of it all in your mind, in the original thinker's mind. It's not a God, it's what you think. Everything that exists existed in our minds first. So the thought is the cause of it all. That's not free will. Thinking is not free will. You don't understand what thinking is. The capacity of thinking is the ability to be aware. Awareness is not free will. You don't know what thinking is. Thinking is the ability to mechanize images, smell, sound, and to configure it to something that makes sense. So our thoughts create our environment. We are thinking before we are anything physical. So when we come up with that science, we know we are thoughts. We are the mind. We are not the body. Our thoughts were existing before the body. We're much older than the flesh. And that's the true concept of God, the true concept of Allah. Allah don't have a sex. You can't circumscribe the thoughts of Allah. Water don't have a sex. There's no such thing as male water, female water. There's no such thing as no female water. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? It's no sex on water. So there's no sex on thinking. It's not a woman thought, a man thought. It's original thought. It's just what it is, the ability to think. Yeah, it's one thing to share your beliefs. It's something different to force them and putting others down. That's what y'all do. That's what y'all Bible thumpers do. Nobody does it like y'all. Nobody Bible thumps like y'all. Y'all are the number one people that force y'all beliefs on people and tell them they going to hell or they sinners. That's what y'all do. And that's why everybody is having this renaissance and revolution on religion because of what y'all people did. No, you're not doing that, but that's what they normally do. The Bible thumpers do that. Jehovah Witnesses do that. And that's why people are not in the church anymore. Why people are not in the church anymore. Yeah, I will let you up, but I'm finna get out of here victorious. I just had a conversation with another Christian, so I'm not gonna waste my time. But I'm very thankful for y'all coming up here. If I can just get 200 more likes and I get out of here, I'm trying to achieve 10,000. before I get up out of here so I can reach my weekly goal and get my check. Reach my weekly goal and get my check. I do depend on a few of these dollars though. The gas money do add up. If I can get y'all to keep on tapping that and get that 10,000 like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's $50 or $100 a month. It all add up. Thank y'all so much for being in here for these important topics that I'm raising across TikTok to bring us closer to the information and proper representation when it comes to dealing with the nations of the world. We will need a certain type of leadership that can configure and articulate their speaking abilities and stance important and pertinent to the people of our community. Oh, yeah, that will be me because I got all of the skills to pay the bills when it comes to speaking and representing this research and articulating it. So I love y'all so much, especially the American women, especially the American woman that's waking up. We are out here, little do y'all know, it is a whole legion of men out here ready to help uplift and work for y'all. That is about, their higher self and not the sinful cares of the world. We are out here. And we're not those boy groups, those religion groups. It is men out here ready to, serve this country and uplift our women back to this standard right here that I'm showing right here on the screen. Love y'all so much. I will be back. I might go back live later. Whenever I get y'all to come out like this, that means y'all want more. Mama said she's 100% woke. I can tell by your comments you knew what I was talking about and ain't falling for the stories they tell us. You know what I'm saying? Common sense, what we witness versus what they telling us. We not falling for that anymore. We're not falling for that anymore. You gotta, if you gonna, and this is what get me about them. Well, show me the proof, and okay, well, show me your God. I gotta go in a book and show you all these books. I gotta show you what Jesus said. Show me your God right now, where I can go and shake their hand. Well, he's invisible. He's invisible. You can't really see him. No, duh, we can't see him because he don't exist. He don't exist. All we got is us. We exist, and that's the reality. The spiritual intricacies of our creations, the inner workings of our heart and our brain and our blood flow, all of that, the movement of water, the movement of time, the movement of the winds, we can't explain it. We call that the force of nature. And what we call nature is Mother Nature. I'm trying to get y'all to get some protection on yourself. Well, help us out with it. We need it. We need it, Victorious. Other than that, I'm up out of here. I gotta go. I'll be back later on tonight. Peace out.